Welcome back to Last on Dress. You got me, Zach. Got my got Junior here, and we got his brother-in-law Colton in the house tonight.
What's going on, everybody?
How's it going, fellas?
Tonight we are drinking Twisted Teas. We got a variety pack, so we're kind of going back and forth between the original, half and half, raspberry and peach. I drink them all, but my favorite is the raspberry and peach. Is my favorite. What do y'all think?
I'm a big fan of half and half, raspberry and peach. I love all three of those now. Original, yeah, I can drink it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. But like I said, I can drink it. I can actually drink it a lot easier than I can other, tea style alcoholic beverages. But yeah,
I'll tell you what though, I'll take the original and half, and I get some Milo's tea, and I mix those two together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's good. It's good.
I've yet to try that. I mean, like I said, but most of the time, if I'm mixing, I mean, I can see mixing like Long Island iced tea, probably, maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. It's already, the alcohol content's meant to drink like it is.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would want to dilute it down any, but I'd say mixing it with Milo's would probably be pretty damn good.
And it's pretty good. What do you think, Colton?
So I'm not a big fan of any flavor in a drink. No raspberry or peach. I kind of go with the original Twisted Tea. I sort of go with that. My only problem is with it sort of gives me the heartburn when I get into the teas too much. but other than that, I enjoy the original myself.
I heard
Oh,
that. Well, let's get into this shit. We're gonna have it's been a while. We did a Junk Stories Part 1 a while back, and we're actually gonna do a Junk Stories Part 2 podcast tonight. So we're gonna get into that tonight. So we're gonna kick it off. Let Colton tell us some stories of him being drunk off his ass.
What you got, Colton? I know you got several.
Well, there's too many stories to be accounted for. Maybe I don't know where to start here, but I've definitely had some wild things happen while I'm drinking. So maybe I'll try to get into one story since we're on the teas. So we come about with the original Twisted Teas as I like. But the reason I say they give me heartburn and I can't drink them as much or as many anymore, I was at a party one night, real young, and everybody was partying and the teas was going around. Well, they bring out a bag, a Walmart bag or something or such, full of plastic bags of teas, tall boys. Well, I think there's nothing to it, maybe it's not that high of alcohol content. Who cares, I'll drink, I'll be all right. So I start cracking these tall boy teas open. I'm tough, I'm young. I think I got this. I'm real tough,
I think we're gonna be there.
Amen.
So I'm drinking these teas and I'm tearing them up, tall boy at a time, shotgun, and I think it's just like beer. There ain't much more alcohol. Well, it starts to hit me. The heartburn comes on super bad. I'm talking about like I feel like I'm burning from the inside of my chest to my throat. Vomit goes everywhere. They have hit me a lot faster than I thought they would from the alcohol content. And I am super sick with the teas. And I guess I'll turn it over to Junior after that because that's my only take on it. I love them, but they'll make you sick quick.
No, I'll be honest. I mean, if you drink a lot of them, they most likely are gonna make you sick because of the damn sweetened alcohol is just something that you have to really acquire the taste for the sweetness. And I mean, to me personally, I don't think you can. I think you have to be a person that has a high tolerance for sweet, and I think you have to have a high tolerance for shit that's along the line of the alcohol mixed in with it. I mean, there's no two ways around it. But yeah, I can't remember if I talked about this one right here. If I have, or you just kind of cut me off or whatever if you want to, but I don't think I did. But this does not involve Twisted Tea. This actually involves ABC store style shit. And you remember because you was here that night, Zach, whenever we was doing it. So that night we bought 2 half-gallon pre-mixed margaritas. We drank every bit of it.
I don't think we talked about that on the last one. I don't remember.
Well, I'll put it like we had the rainbow vacuum cleaner man come the next day. I am sick as a fucking dog. I mean, we're drinking. I think we got like two different style margarita. But every time I've done tequila, it has kicked my fat ass.
Tequila.
Yeah, tequila. That's exactly what I felt like. Fucking death the next day. I was just sitting there. But I did not get sick that night. I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick the next day. But I remember you calling me after the fucking rainbow vacuum cleaner guy left the house. And I was like, did you get sick? You know, like, man, I felt rougher than shit. But I was like, well, at least I wasn't the only one. But I can't remember what it was, y'all. But I'm telling you, if you're not a tequila person, or you're not a margarita, with the Mexican style drinks, I'm telling you right now, be careful because they will fucking tear you up. But they are going to make you sick as a dog the next day.
Mm-hmm.
We had to pre-mix shit. And I'll go ahead and tell you, Jose kicks my ass every time. So, I think we had to have some Jose and a few of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I'm the same way with vodka. Like, I bought some Aristocrat vodka when I was like 17 years old and got sick as a motherfucker off that shit. Like, I thought I was actually dying that night.
You said, let me stop.
I think we talked about that in the Drunk Stories Part 1, though.
We might have, but I want to ask you something. You said you was like 17 years old and you bought it.
Well, I didn't buy it, like, I might have been 18. I don't know. I mean, I was young. I wasn't like under 21, so I don't know how we got a hold of it, but we got a hold of it. And
I can't remember if we talked about that or not, but all I know is that I think my tequila days are over. I actually have some unopened bottles of Jose Cuervo in the cabinet right now.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple years since we drank it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, every bit of it.
Yeah.
So it's aged a couple more years being in there, and I will not fucking open it. Like, I mean, I might, if I do,
So
I might take a shot of it, but that's about it.
maybe I could interrupt here for just a moment.
Oh, no, go ahead, go for it.
On the tequila, since I feel like I have a story there on it.
I'll go for it.
So there's a song, and everybody knows tequila makes your clothes fall off.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, when I get to drinking the tequila, I start feeling super hot, but then it's like the adrenaline and of course maybe this ain't the proper subject for what we're getting on, but the sex drive kicks way up on the tequila. And I feel like I am going to do one of the two F words. Maybe you don't agree, but it's fuck or fight.
It happens.
And I love women, so I'd surely probably pick that choice over any other. There's also a lot more stories that could probably go along with that, but I'll leave the tequila alone because I don't want to try to kill you. On that part.
I remember a drunk story one time was I was over here at Junior's, and I don't even know what we was drinking that night, but I do remember vaguely that I was so drunk that I asked you for hot dog buns.
I think we talked about that, didn't we?
I think we talked about it briefly, but then we was gonna get more into it than everything in the second story. So I was like, Junior, I need to sober up. I need some bread. So he's like, the only bread I got is hot dog buns. I don't give a shit, bro. Hand me them hot dog buns. He puts one of each hand. So like I'm like falling asleep, and then I wake up and I take a bite of one of these hot dog buns in my hand, and I chew it, swallow it, and then I was like, I fall back to sleep, and then I'd wake up and I'd take a bite of the other hot dog bun in my hand. And then I was like, so I was trying to like sober up and everything, and then I got to a point where I was like going outside, throwing up and everything like that. And this was like your birthday, like what, 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it? It wasn't too long ago. It wasn't that long ago because you was living here. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you got to think, man. Time flies anymore when you get older, like we are, man. And
it hadn't been that long. I want to say within the last 3 years.
It's been within the last probably year or two, I think, at least. But I do know that I remember telling you about the hot dog buns, but that's about all I remember because it wasn't long after that, man. I was a complete blackout for me.
Yeah, because like the one time, man, you got drunk off your ass because we was like taking several shots of different things and drinking beer and like cooking steaks that night, and you went to sit on your couch and you just woke up and was like, I don't feel good. What?
Oh man, I thought man, I stained the fucking carpet that night, and man, my wife was so pissed.
Oh, she was so mad.
I was just like, you know, man, I'm over 300 pounds, man, and you know that's a lot of puke for a big man to come up in that damn floor. But I tell you what, you talk about tequila. You know, we was on the tequila ordeal, man. Have y'all heard that damn? God Almighty, it's a skit that it's widely played. It's actually pretty old now. This man, he's like in a rehabilitation center. He talks about, you know, not freebasing cocaine, and he's like, I will not freebase cocaine. You know, I went to that Redstone Rehabilitation Center down there in Alabama. You know, type deal, and he's just sitting there talking about, you know, he's like, I might drink. He said, I'll drink a beer now. You know, he's like, I'll take a drink, but you know, I won't drink that damn tequila. You know, he said, because you know, he said, I get wild and everything. He said, you know, he said, every time I do, he said, I drink that tequila. He said, you know, I get mad and mean. He said, and I beat the hell out of Sally, and you know, it hurts me more than it hurts her when I beat the hell out of her. He keeps going on things. He's like, well, he said, I have to admit, I drink tequila maybe about twice a year. He said, but when I do, he said, oh, Sally, you better watch out because you know I'm going to go upside the
head. So I think I might chime in here for a minute.
You chime in anytime.
Because I got many stories about Sally and of course in the podcast. I won't call no names. But
I don't care.
So we talk onwards about the tequila, and not just tequila, but any brown liquor we get into on topic here. As I said before, you know, it makes me want to fuck or fight. Depending on your mood, I could be loving or I could be the worst guy you've ever met. And these situations have tended to land me in a lot of trouble. But Benji was talking about the bread, and this goes along with the tequila. So I worked with a construction company when I, you know, was maybe 15 or 16 years old, kind of, maybe, you know, who knows, not for sure, but maybe some table work, just learning, and so I drank the tequila, and I'm really out there, I'm really not in my right mind with the situation that's going on, and somebody tells me the only way to sober up is the bread, and that gets me back to the hot dog, but mine was loaf bread, so he says start in the middle of the loaf bread. He said, don't worry about the bread tie, don't worry about opening my bread. He said, you rip the bread open from the middle. And he was an old drunk. So I tear the whole loaf of bread open. And I'm hungry, so I don't know what to do. And at this time, we had a contract where we could get some old free bread for goats and sheep on the cattle farm from a certain company to feed our animals. But anyway, so I ripped the bread up. You The loaf of bread. It was still decent, you know, from the middle, as he says, as the old drunk tells me. I ripped the loaf of bread open, and I continued to pull pieces upon pieces out as if I'm hungry, cramming my face with the bread. Well, as the bread begins to fill me with liquor, and I'm sorry, maybe you don't comprehend, or maybe you do the situation. But so I continued to open it from the middle, you know, tearing the whole loaf of bread apart, and bread's going everywhere on the kitchen stove, my old boss man's house. And,
his old boss man's house, keep her
and I continued to eat this bread. Well, I get about 4 pieces down in about 20 minutes. I think, well, I can drink some more. I'm feeling pretty good. Well, I take a shot. And so it seems this bread continues to swell inside of my stomach.
Oh, hell.
And to the point I feel completely full and maybe beyond measure of intoxicated. So I continued to eat this bread.
In other words, what you're saying is the breathalyzer probably wouldn't stand a fucking chance.
I get to the edge of the porch, and I'm throwing up. This bread comes out looking as if it's a half raw biscuit.
Ooh.
Very, very thick, and I was very sick. Although I felt better the next morning, as many would recommend you eat the bread, I do not recommend. I would rather take the feeling bad over the sickness as the bread begins to swell, and that's just my take on the situation. But and I'll leave it alone at that. But be careful with the bread. The alcohol will definitely make it swell, and you'll be very sick.
My thing of it is, why do you think that everybody tells you to turn to fucking bread when people get so drunk? You know, well, here, eat some bread. Everybody in their this has happened whenever, you know, shit, man. I was a teenager, man, and drinking and shit, you know, doing shit I wasn't supposed to do, you know, just like about every other fucking teenager has. You know, and everybody's like, oh God, such and such is getting sick. Well, fuck, give them some damn bread. What the fuck is up with giving them damn bread? Which, you know, because nowadays, you know, thinking about it, because when I'm at the bar, you know, or, you know, when I used to be at the bars and shit like that, everybody was just like, give them some water. And then they preach water at bars, but they, you know, outside of a bar, your friends are going to tell you to give you fucking bread. What's the deal with that, you think?
I don't know. I think it's like because bread like absorbs the alcohol, so maybe it kind of like helps you from getting so like sick, depending on how much you drink. Maybe I don't know. But they also say like, you know, the next day you got a hangover, you eat like greasy foods and shit. And so I don't know. Maybe it's like one of them damn old time remedies or some shit. Yeah. Who knows?
My take on the bread is, so you see before it's spread from the flour, it absorbs liquid, correct? So we know it's absorbing the alcohol. But when bread has moisture, what does it do? It swells, right?
Right.
So you eat this bread, it's in your stomach, and it's swelling. It's absorbing what you do not want in your system because, in fact, you are intoxicated. But I feel as if the reason they tell you to do that is it is intended to come up, which is pushing the alcohol out of your stomach. The same as if pumping your stomach would, which is made to sober you up. Although it may dehydrate you by absorbing the liquid and pushing it out, I feel as if maybe it detoxifies the human system to maybe make you feel better the next day. To eat the bread and to absorb it and then to get it out is better for the next day. Although I do not feel, as I said before, for the particular situation in the moment that it is the best, because like I said, the bread just swells and you're going to throw up. Maybe that's my thought. Maybe the bread absorbs it. Maybe there's no science behind it, but that's my take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you one thing that I've had a lot of good luck with, and especially like for hangovers and stuff like that. which I wished I'll probably be wishing that I had some in the morning after drinking all these Twisted Teas. So, and that is the Gator Lights. You know, you can get regular Gator Light Zeros, and I've only seen the Gator Light Zeros in like 2 different flavors, but regardless, excuse me, and they are phenomenal. Even with, like, if you're just feeling bad, if you're sick or something like that, go to the store, get you a Gator Light, and you know, sip that damn thing gone, and I promise you, you will feel better. I mean, it's just like, it's almost like taking, you know, like Vicodins work really good for me as far as like for pain and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I'm taking Vicodins for pain or something like that right there, you know, which I you know, I never really get prescribed anything like that anymore. I'm not sure why or why they don't prescribe them anymore or whatever.
But I think so many people get addicted.
Oh, I don't doubt it one damn bit. But I mean, it's kind of like one of them things. How Vicodin will take your pain away from a lot of things just almost instantly. Like, you know, gout pain, you take a Vicodin. I had a gout pain one time so bad that it felt like my damn foot was broken.
Oh, trust me, I know.
And I took a Vicodin, and that son of a bitch went away. It went away for like all day long, and came back like 5 or 6 o'clock that evening. But at that time, the uric acid buildup was gone. It was just pretty much the after effects pain of the stretching of the joint and all that stuff. But I didn't feel anything. So versus like, say, a Gator Light. A Gator Light, after about 15 minutes, hits you almost like that pill would. And essentially, it will to me. It makes me feel 100% better. Like, I mean, it will take you from feeling like just dog shit to just being 100. Again, all over. So anybody who drinks, especially like high alcohol drinks and shit like that, for instance, like you said, like you know, shit. I'm trying to think. I mean, like, you know, Twisted. Well, I mean, Twisted Tea's only 5%, but like these IPA beers and shit like that, high in alcohol, like Voodoo Rangers and stuff. You know, we ain't never done anything on Voodoo Ranger, but I'm sure it's coming.
Sure it will be.
And it will help you. You know, get over the morning afters.
Well, it's like, you know, I know I've talked about this in the previous podcast, last couple. Like, you know, I took a weed to my hand, I had to have surgery, and like, I got a couple pins in there with the cast on my hand now.
Dumbass.
I wasn't even drinking that day. I wish I would have been.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's pretty damn deep cut. That was for sure.
But like, I had to call my doctor because I ran out of hydrocodone, and they only gave me like 9 hydrocodone. But I tell you, like, the hydrocodone is not that high. So even when I take one, it doesn't even really, like, I mean, it helps a little bit, but this isn't like, doesn't take the pain away. Like, I had to like drink a lot of shit to like not feel anything. It's like annoying as hell.
They prescribed me oxycodone for when I had my foot surgery, and I think I took it for like 2 days after the fact, and then I quit. And the reason I quit was because I started feeling sick, like I was going to throw up. I couldn't eat nothing. I couldn't drink nothing. I was just sick to where I thought I was going to fucking throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And every fucking where. And Lord God forbid I get sick on the fucking carpet again, you know, because my wife's going to fucking hang my damn ass.
You don't got carpet in there no more. You got hard floors.
Yeah, hardwood floors, but
easy to clean up.
Yeah, essentially they are easier to clean up. But there's still a lot of work in it. But I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. It's rough. It's really rough.
So maybe I jump in though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, take it away.
So it's known that with hydration, even though we drink water, our body cannot become hydrated without electrolytes. And I guess I'm getting all the way back to the Gatorlyte before we got into the rest of the conversation. But I'm gonna try to maybe make it make sense a little bit for my body and the rest of the situation. So the Gatorlyte, it really helps me. It really does. But, and as we said about bread before, how it makes me sick. Now, I'll tell you, Mr. Junior Shelton, here, he makes a killer steak. I mean, darn good and seasoned. And sodium. Sodium tends to help me the next day. I don't have as many aches and pains if I've eaten meat or something that's salted or with sodium in it. By science, our body absorbs water, but without sodium, it can't enter the tissue in our body. It can't enter the tissue. Sodium is what causes our fluid retention in our body, in our joints and other areas. So maybe we get off the bread and off the Gatorlyte. Maybe the Gatorlyte helps because it has the sodium and the electrolytes in it, and I feel like that's what really helps me. And I'll move on to the next subject they got into just very quickly, and not to interrupt, but as far as the opioids and maybe the pain medicine, I don't feel as if maybe that this medication hits us and goes to contact where it hurts as it's supposed to because of the way that it's regulated. Maybe they should add something else a little stronger or actual opioid into it for certain situations. Maybe I'm wrong, and I know there's huge addiction problems that go around. But if we're taking something that's mostly Tylenol for inflammation, yet we have pain and something's hurting, if we take away inflammation but something is torn or bad, then how do we take away pain? Because even though the inflammation is taken away, there's something wrong. And I'll get off the subject. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe y'all look at me like I'm retarded.
No, I mean,
but that's my take on both subjects real quickly, and I'll let y'all get back into it.
Ain't nothing smart, nothing better than a smart, dumb son bitch. I see why they call that a couch, but this right here, motherfucker, this right here, this love seat. I can't even sit it from none in love. Thank you, Dr. Colt. Appreciate that. Listen, no, y'all gonna think I'm an asshole, but I don't know how we kind of got into all of this. It's supposed to be Drunk Stories Part 2.
Well, I mean,
it is what it is. We'll have a good fucking time.
Fuck yeah, it is what it is. I mean, if there's another drunk story comes up, it'll come up whenever it comes up.
Yeah,
you
I'm
could be
sure
in the middle of talking about fucking planets. By the way, you talking about fucking Mars. Such and such got drunk as hell, fell off a goddamn building the other day. And you know what? That son of a bitch right there said, he was flying on Mars and standing up there on top of the damn building.
I felt like that when I smoked the weed a couple times. I felt like I was flying on Mars and like, wee!
I'm telling you, I don't know. The only time I've ever smoked weed, I ate like 5 cheeseburgers from fucking McDonald's, and I spent like $20 on a goddamn snack machine. What the fuck? And I'm just.
That's easy to do anymore. Chips Ahoy, $5 at the goddamn Forsyth Hospital.
She ain't kidding.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. It's
The $3.45. Like, what kind of number is that, mate?
Dude, we had 2 grocery buggies full of shit. And plus, granted, I got a deal in the freezer, down at Sam's Club the other day. But 2 buggies full of shit. We paid almost $600 for 2 buggies full of shit. But I'm like, now granted, shopping at Sam's and spending $600, you got a bunch of shit you got a lot of bulk shit for $600. Now we did But you know one thing that I couldn't understand, and I was sitting here thinking, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get a whole beef filet mignon down here, and thinking maybe it's gonna be cheaper than what I'm gonna pay for it up here at the damn meat center.
$35 there.
Bullshit. Yeah, I wished it was $35. I've seen some of them bitches in there for $140 to $200 for a whole damn fillet, and I was like, fuck you.
That's what me and my
I can go get them for like 100, 113 at the damn meat center. Well, I went to the meat center, man. I went there yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they was $130 and $140. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, has this just this one part of the cow gone up? I mean, the rest of it don't nobody give a shit about? What the fuck?
Inflation, bitch. Inflation.
Yeah, you damn right, inflation. Joe Biden. Yeah, there it is. I said it. I know we're a non-political podcast, but god damn it, that's how I fucking feel.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm gonna get off that subject now.
Real quick.
But yeah, it's I don't know. The price of fucking beef is just outrageous. But well, I mean, at this turn, what do you do? But hey, it's 24 coming up. Hopefully, we'll get something.
That's why I hope we have a better year this coming up year than we have been like this.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Go ahead, man.
How do you guys feel if maybe I jump in on the meat price for a minute and see how you guys maybe feel about it? It's not political, but just from I guess from from maybe a country boy or a farmer's point of view. I bought meat this year myself, off a cow and a hog. The hog was $4 a pound, and I can't remember the cow, maybe a little more something. But I got different parts of the cow, the hamburger to the fillet, to each different point, porterhouse with the rib eye and the rib fat, and other parts in whatever, just different parts of this cow. And I bought it, from someone out in the country, just some meat that had been processed. Anyway, I get to the point. So I spend $40. We'll just start with the hog, because I guess I remember more about the pork man I got, because it was really good. It was seasoned really good.
Oh yeah.
I bought 10 pound of sausage, whole hog sausage, and from every part of the hog. It's a whole ground sausage. It's really good. It's seasoned. It's got maybe some of it's got jalapeno in it. Some of it's got apple and cinnamon in it. It's super good. It's different flavors. I bought 3 different flavors of this sausage for $4 a pound from a local farmer for around about what they would sell it for, what the hog would cost, or maybe a little more, because they got to make money too.
Exactly.
And my question is, they sell it for this amount that I buy it for, fresh from them, and then I go to the grocery store and I say, not as good of a quality, but a good quality sausage or pork meat, whatever, a whole hog sausage, this is what you call it. It's $6.18 a pound at the food line. And one time, and maybe it ain't here locally. Who is making the money? Because it's not our local farmers. It's not the middleman that transports this meat. And I know we're going to get into politics, but it gets into crucially, as Junior said, the inflation. See, the lower man, the man that raises it, and the middle man that helps process, they're not the ones making the money. It's these son of a bitches that inflate all this because they're told to by the government. I mean, that's all there is to it. The middleman and the farmer, we're not getting rich, we're not making any money, and it's wrong because we put in the work for this stuff to be raised. If anyone else agrees, maybe you could add in on it.
No, to be honest with you, real quick before Junior says something, I think I'd rather buy local, from a farmer and stuff like that. I mean, it may be just a little bit more expensive, but dude, I mean, you got like some of these farmers around here that cut their own meat and everything like that. If I can buy it from them, even if I'm spending like $1 more, you gotta think, man, it's gonna be a lot fresher than going to the damn store.
When I spent less.
That's
That
what-
shows
yeah,
me that
so,
the
like-
middleman and the lower
You're going
man-
directly to the source, is why.
So like, you know, you go to the store and you're spending $2 or $3 more for the same thing, even though if it's just a little bit less quality. I mean, you know, you gotta think like these truckers that got to bring it in, and the people that's got to unload it, and then put it on the shelves and like that. So of course it's gonna be more, but it's not gonna be as good like if you go to some local, mom and pop's farm or whatever, or a little shop, and buy it straight from them. So.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, I mean, we'll kind of, if y'all want to, we'll wrap it up after this, but, me being a truck driver, I talked to a lot of livestock haulers, and a lot of them's owner operator. They own these hog farms or they own cattle farms and so on and so forth, in which I deliver materials to build these hog and cattle farms and chicken houses and stuff. I mean, I haul this material directly to the customer, and so when you sign once these people have so much land, they got all these chicken houses, hog houses, cattle farms, so on and so forth, with with thousands of head of hogs, cows, chickens, whatever. For one, they don't make much by that right there, and the reason everything goes up, it has, it all boils down, let's just be honest, it all boils down to government. It doesn't have to be like this, but your fuel prices of your tractor and trailers hauling it has a ton to do with it. Secondly, being processed at the plants. Plants have to do additives and all that stuff right there to keep this meat fresh, to travel from one end of the country to the other. Because let's say here like Smithfield hog farms, we deliver to a lot of Smithfield houses, and, being rebuilt or new farms, and these things, man, I'm telling you, what it boils down to, all these, I mean, I've seen thousands of hogs in these damn places. What it boils down to is whenever they take them, they send them to the plant to get them on assembly line and all that stuff, and adding all these additives. They coming in on tractor and trailer, they going out on tractor and trailer. The farther this meat goes, the more it's going to cost,
right,
because the more fuel that's going to be added to it. And but at the same time, and my advice is to anybody, is to do what Colton did. Find you a local hog farmer or whatever. Buy your hogs and your cattle, whatever, half cows, whatever it may be, from your local farmer, because you will probably get a little bit better of a deal. Probably not a whole lot, but a little bit better of a deal, because they're going to have to process this deer themselves, and that's what you're paying for, is processing. You can go get a cow for $1,000, $2,000, but by the time you process it and everything, you got $5,000 worth of meat in one cow. And half the weight's gone and just tossed out the drain. But yeah, that's where all this shit goes to.
So this has been Junk Stories Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, well, it veers off, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we're fucking kind of drunk off our asses, so whatever.
Hey, maybe I'll end it on a funny note. I like fresh meat.
I like garbage. We got the meat.
Yeah. What was that one you showed me, that fucking meme you showed me? This said Arby's new ready to settle down sandwich.
Yeah, it's got roast beef. It looked like a pussy.
Yeah.
Cream just coming
Yeah,
out.
kind of got like
it.
cheese, melted cheese running down over it. That's nasty shit.
Sounds pretty good, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I want to lick the shit out of that right now.
I like it.
I love the meat.
But yeah, guys, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, we about 40 minutes in. We're going to cut this off and we will be back next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Later.
Later.
Catch you later. It's been a good time.